No problems, no complaints.
My name is Daniel Philip Alpatov, and I stand in favor of the resolution. Civil disobedience in a democracy is morally justified. Ronald Reagan was right in saying that democracy rests on this insight. Its discovery was a great triumph of our founding fathers, voiced by William Penn when he said, "If we will not be governed by God, we must be governed by tyrants." Explaining the inalienable rights of men, Jefferson said, "The God who gave us life gave us liberty at the same time." And it was George Washington who said that of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. Liberty is a value worth fighting for, and even more so if done peacefully. My name is Daniel Philip Alpatov, and I stand in favor of the resolution. Civil disobedience in a democracy is morally justified. I will use the following definitions for my argument. Democracy, government by the people, rule of the majority, Merriam-Webster. Morally, with reference to principles of right and wrong behavior, Oxford Languages. Republic, a government in which the power belongs to the body of citizens entitled to vote and is exercised by leaders and representatives elected by those citizens to govern according to law, Merriam-Webster. Liberty, the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's life, behavior, or political views, Oxford Languages. My value today is the protection of liberty for citizens under a democracy. Civil disobedience is an act of liberty and should be upheld. The value of liberty is of higher value than my opponent's value of authority. The criterion I will use to measure the value of liberty is the general rights of mankind and the voice of the minority. Now, what I found interesting was my opponent said that authority can be changed by voting. However, there is another option. The Declaration of Independence states that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, aka these rights, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form for safety and happiness. Now remember, civil disobedience is justified because this is how we get rid of oppressive government. How else do we get rid of it except violence, which is horrendous crimes to get rid of violence. My opponent also stated the value of law, and I understand the value of law, but I also stand by Martin Luther King Jr.'s side when he said that an individual who breaks a law that conscience tells him is unjust and who willingly accepts the penalty of imprisonment in order to arouse the conscience of community over its justice is in reality expressing the highest respect for the law. I also found it funny that my opponent said or admitted that evil leaks into authority. So her value of authority already has the presence of evil in it. My opponent also does not have a solution for replacing government other than voting. How else do we abolish such horrendous acts of government under democracy other than voting? Civil disobedience is clearly the answer. My opponent proves that the majority rules, and if the majority rules, how does our culture stand up? In conclusion, I urge the judge to vote for the resolution. Civil disobedience in a democracy is morally justified. Consider the huge problems humankind would face if the basic right of civil disobedience is not held. Our freedoms would be at risk. The majority can vote for laws that are unjust, cruel, and despicable. What can a minority do other than sit in a corner? K.G. Chesterton said that I've always believed in democracy and the elementary liberal doctrine of self-governing humanity. Judge, how about we keep the resolution